In this factory, a tiny scratch is a death sentence. A flawless piece of leather is destroyed simply because it is not perfect. This ruthless pursuit of perfection is why a Birkin bag costs $20,000 while a standard bag costs $50,000. We are inside the exclusive tannery that supplies the world's most luxurious brand. Here, 90% of raw hides are rejected and burned. The journey does not begin in a factory, but in the high-altitude pastures of the Swiss Alps and Northern Europe. The cattle here live like royalty. They are raised in environments specifically chosen to protect their skin from damage. There are no barbed wire fences to scratch them. Even the altitude is calculated to ensure there are no mosquitoes to bite them. A single mosquito bite leaves a microscopic scar. For Hermès, that scar renders the entire animal useless for a handbag. Furthermore, they primarily use male calves. Female cows develop stretch marks during pregnancy, creating uneven textures that are forbidden here. The selected hides arrive at the tannery in France. The facility is more like a laboratory than a traditional leather workshop. Our master tanner treats each skin with reverence. He wears white cotton gloves, ensuring no oils from his hands contaminate the raw surface. Each hide is scanned and traced. We know exactly which farm, which cow, and even what diet the animal consumed. Then comes the sorting. This is the Hunger Games of leather. Hides are placed on backlit tables to reveal internal flaws. The master uses a magnifying glass. He is looking for imperfections invisible to the naked eye, like healed scratches or vein marks. If a flaw is found, the hide is discarded. Only the top 1% survive this stage to become a luxury item. The survivors enter the soaking drums. These massive vessels are made of French oak similar to those used for aging wine. Pure filtered water rehydrates the salted skins. Gentle rotation washes away impurities without damaging the delicate grain. Next is the fleshing machine. It strips away fat and tissue from the underside, leaving only the pristine collagen structure. The skins are then submerged in lime. This chemical bath dissolves the hair follicles, leaving the skin smooth and pure white. Unlike cheap leather, which is tanned with chromium in hours, this factory uses the ancient vegetable tanning method. A recipe of oak bark and mimosa is used. This natural slurry smells like a forest, not a chemical plant. The process is agonizingly slow. The hides rest in pits for weeks, allowing the tannins to soak deep into the fibers. This patience pays off. Vegetable tanned leather develops a unique patina, over time becoming more beautiful as it ages. Once tanned, the leather turns a rich golden brown. It is now stable, durable, and smells incredibly earthy and expensive. But it is too thick. The sammying machine squeezes out water before the critical splitting process begins. A razor-sharp blade splits the leather horizontally. We only want the top, full-grain layer where the fibers are strongest. The bottom layer, or split, is sold to cheaper brands. Here, only the top grain is worthy of the master's table. Precision is measured in tenths of a millimeter. The thickness must be uniform across the entire square footage of the hide. Even at this stage, quality control continues. Any hide that reacted poorly to the tanning agents is immediately pulled from the line. The survivor hides are now ready for the finishing steps that will give them their signature buttery texture. It is a process of elimination. Starting with thousands, we are left with a handful of skins perfect enough for the next stage. This extreme waste ratio is the primary driver of the cost. You are paying for the thousands of skins that were rejected. Now, the leather moves to the dyeing room. But this is no ordinary paint job. It is a chemical bonding process. The master tanner prepares the dye mix. The colors are iconic formulations that have been guarded secrets for decades. The leather is drum-dyed, meaning the color penetrates all the way through, not just sitting on the surface. As the drum spins, the transformation nears completion. The raw skin is becoming a material of legend. Dyeing is where the leather gets its soul. We use the iconic orange dye, a color that has defined the brand for a century. Crucially, fat liquors are added. These oils lubricate the fibers, ensuring the leather remains soft as butter for decades. Drying is not rushed. The skins are pasted onto glass frames, preventing them from shrinking as the moisture evaporates. Once dry, the leather is stiff. The staking machine pounds it with thousands of pins to massage the fibers back to softness. A final ironing gives the surface a subtle sheen. It is now ready to leave the tannery and enter the hallowed halls of the atelier. In the workshop, one artisan makes one bag from start to finish. There are no assembly lines here. The artisan cuts the leather by hand. Machines are forbidden because they cannot feel the stretch of the hide like a human can. Now begins the saddle stitch. This technique uses two needles passing through the same hole in opposite directions. The linen thread is coated in beeswax. This seals the hole and makes the thread water-resistant. Unlike a machine lock stitch, if a saddle stitch breaks the seam, does not unravel. It is virtually indestructible. The artisan pulls the thread with immense force. It takes up to 48 hours of hand sewing to complete one bag. Once sewn, the seam is hammered flat. The stitching becomes one with the leather smooth to the touch. The edges are raw and ugly. They must be painted. A layer of liquid polymer is applied by hand. It is sanded, then painted again. This cycle is repeated 5 times until the edge is perfectly round and smooth. A hot iron creaser fuses the paint into the leather. This prevents the edges from cracking even after years of use. The hardware is jewelry quality. Made of solid brass and plated in gold or palladium, it will never tarnish. A unique technique called purling is used. The artisan hammers the rivets until they form a perfect round mushroom head. The bag is turned inside out. This is a terrifying moment where the leather is stressed, but the quality holds firm. The foil stamp is applied, made in France. This tiny text is the seal of ultimate luxury. Even the handles are complex. Layers of leather are rolled and sewn to create a grip that molds to the owner's hand. Finally, the bag sits on the bench, but it is not done. It must pass the white glove inspection. Inspectors count the stitches. They check the grain. They look for microscopic scratches. If a single flaw is found, the bag is rejected. It will never leave the factory. The standards are absolute. The survivors are packed in the famous orange box. The packaging alone costs more than most handbags. Silk tissue paper cradles the leather. The brown Bolduc ribbon is tied in a perfect bow. In the boutique, the wait list is years long. You cannot simply walk in and buy one. When the client opens the box, they are hit with the smell of rich, vegetable-tanned leather. It is soft, heavy, and perfect. The grain tells the story of the happy life the calf lived in the Alps. A $20,000 price tag. But on the resale market, it could fetch $30,000 or more. It is a better investment than gold or the stock market. A Birkin bag never loses its value. It is built to be passed down. A grandmother buys it today, and her granddaughter will carry it in 50 years. From a raw hide in a muddy field to the arm of a celebrity, the transformation is complete. It is not just a bag. It is a masterpiece of time, patience, and uncompromising skill. The artisan cleans his tools. He knows he has created something that will outlive him. This is the secret world of Hermès, where perfection is the only option.